Moshiach, ani מאמין. Moshiach, Moshiach, Moshiach. Oy, 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 oy. Liach, shetzmameach, kozeach, ha'eloi, ha'eloi, b'chol sheyovoy, 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 sheyovoy. Ani מאמין, באמונה שבו, בביאת המשיח, אני מאמין.
Good evening. So we're going to continue the topic that we spoke about a couple weeks ago about whether Mashiach is going to have to do miracles. So in previous Shiurim, previous weeks, we discussed what the Rambam writes in Mishnah Torah, how Mashiach will not have to make miracles. So we discussed in one of the previous Shiurim that elsewhere the Rambam mentions that it's possible that in fact Mashiach will do miracles. So one of those places is Igeres Teiman, the letter that the Rambam wrote to the people who lived in Teiman, in Yemen. And the way Rambam describes Mashiach over there is very different. So here you could look inside. There's a quote over here from Igeres Teiman, the main points the Rambam says. So just to point out, we're not going to discuss so much this evening about how to reconcile the different statements of the Rambam. The main focus tonight will be to discuss the Rambam's position in Igeres Teiman. Maybe another time we'll discuss how to reconcile all the different statements and all the different sources of the Rambam. So the Rambam in Igeres Teiman says as follows: Yamin ish shaloi noida koidem hira oisai. A man will arise who will not be known before he appears. V'ha oisais v'ha moifsim sheyiro al yadai. Here's the punchline. He says the signs, the miracles which we will see that he will perform, hein harayos al amitas yichusai. They will be the proofs to his true lineage. In other words, they will be the proofs that he is indeed Mashiach. So the Rambam is saying over here that the way we will know that he's Mashiach is the fact that he will do miracles, which seems to imply that performing miracles is something which is very essential to about what Mashiach is about. And he goes further. He says, B'shashi Yigola, when Mashiach will be revealed, Yibalu kol malchei eretz mishamai, all the kings of the earth will all be like in shock from hearing about him. V'yipachdu, and they will fear. V'tibol malchusam, and their kingdoms will all become like discombobulated almost. They will try to figure out how to stand up against him with sword or other things. No one will be able to say that Mashiach is not in fact Mashiach, or will be able to contradict him. Everybody will be totally astonished from all the miracles that he will show, and they'll put their hands to their mouths. That's what Yeshayahu said, that all the kings will listen to him. That the kings will cover their mouths. They've seen things that, not sure exactly how to translate that. He says that Mashiach will be able to put to death anyone who he so desires just by his word. No one will be able to be saved from him. That's what Yeshayahu says. He will strike the earth with the staff of his lip, and with the breath of his lips, he will put to death a wicked man. So in other words, the Rambam is seems to be saying pretty clearly here in Igeres Teiman that how will we know he's Mashiach is he'll make all these wonders and miracles. In other words, wonders and miracles, they are a defining part of Mashiach's identity. So the question is why? Why is it so important that Mashiach bring wonders and miracles? If anything, as we discussed in previous shiurim, the whole point of Mashiach seems to be to bring back Torah and mitzvahs, which is, as we discussed, that has nothing to do with wonders and miracles. So why would the Rambam be intimating over here that Mashiach needs to make wonders and miracles, so to say? Okay, so we'll discuss the idea based on what Chassidus explains, what the concept of Mashiach is. So maybe we'll add another question. So Mashiach, Rambam says, is going to bring back Malchus David Liyashna. He's going to bring back the Davidic dynasty. He's a descendant of David HaMelech, of King David. So we don't find that by David HaMelech that a defining characteristic was that he made wonders and miracles. Right? He was a king. He was the epitome of a king. He was the first king of the Davidic dynasty. So why is Mashiach different? Why is Mashiach, seemingly Mashiach is just the end, he's the heir of David. So why is it that Mashiach needs to make wonders and miracles? So in order to understand this, we have to understand what's the difference in Kabbalistically speaking between David HaMelech and Mashiach. So in Derech Mitzvah Secha from the Tzemach Tzedek and Mitzvahs Minoi Melech, he talks about appointing a king. So over there he talks about the spiritual source, the shoyresh of David HaMelech and of Mashiach. So he says like this: Hine David HaMelech olav hashalom zocher bekeser melucha zu la'il mayan. Says David HaMelech, he merited the concept of sovereignty, right? Kingship, melucha, was for him and his descendants forever. It says David HaMelech was like a chariot to the level of Malchus of Atzilus, which basically is the concept of Malchus Shemayim. Yeah, Atzilus is the highest of the four worlds, and it's the godly world as opposed to the other three worlds of Bri, Yitzira, and Asiya. And David HaMelech was, so to say, a chariot to the level of Malchus of Atzilus, which means that he was totally bottled, totally subservient to Hashem. He had no independent will, so to say. The whole concept, we spoke about this before, the whole concept of a king in general, and specifically David, was he represents Malchus Shemayim here in this world. That was David HaMelech. But seemingly that's a very great level. What could be greater than that? So the Tzemach Tzedek says that in fact Mashiach will be on an even higher level. So he says the level of Malchus of Atzilus isn't the highest level. Valpi HaKabbalah hukach. Later he explains that based on Kabbalah the concept is as follows: Ki hanivroyim debriya yitzira asiya yesh alehem melech tata. So the creations here in the lower worlds of Bria, Yitzira, and Asiya, they have a lower king. Malchus da Atzilus. So Malchus da Atzilus is, so to say, the lower king. Shenasa Atik leBria. So Malchus da Atzilus is what's called the Atik for the world of Bria. Now what's the concept of Atik? It says, V'hainu b'chines Atik hu ma shelamayla mehaseichel. So Atik means something that's beyond understanding. It's the concept of Atik. Miloshen hamaytik horim. Shenetak v'nivdol min hasoges hanevroim shebegimel olam is biyah. It's like when you uproot mountains. Atik, it means it's uprooted, it's uplifted. So, Malchus of Atzilus is beyond the understanding of creations in these three worlds. It's beyond our understanding. Elahu b'vchinas makef aleim. It's what's called, it's like transcendent. It's kemoshel gzeras hamelech al ha'eved. So it's just like a king down here. When a king decrees something upon his servant, the king, the servant has to put aside his own will, because the king's decree is beyond his understanding. So we see that Malchus is the concept of Atik. It's the concept of something which is beyond understanding. Right? The servant doesn't need to understand and a lot of times cannot understand the king's decree. So v'nikru zeh b'shem Malchus da'atzilus al biyad. That's the level of Malchus of Atzilus. This is Hashem's kingship. This is beyond our understanding. So, however, this is not the highest level. However, there are neshamis which are at the level of Atzilus. They're like brothers, so to say, to Zav and Nukva. That means to the spheroids of the world of Atzilus. So the level of Atik, the level of Malchus of Atzilus, it's not hidden at all. It's not beyond their understanding. They're like brothers, which means they're like, so to say, on the same level as the spheroids. So what level is beyond them? They also have a level that's beyond them. Pirush atik da atzilus ma shemisnasim mimois olam hin yomin iloin shemidus da atzilus. He goes on over here. V'netak v'nibdul mehen v'hagvoya ma'oid nailu mehasagasam hu b'chinas malchus da'ak al atzilus. V'sham yeh shoyresh HaMashiach. V'zeu v'gavam ba'oid shenemar b'oi v'olav nemar v'chaim shalmim chanasantoloi v'loi k'moi b'david sheimi malchus da atzilus. Okay. So basically the idea is like this, saying that Moshiach is a much higher level of Malchus. This is Malchus, which he says from the level of Adam Kadmon. Other places it says that his neshama, comes from the level of Atik Yomin. So just to explain, what is this concept exactly? What does it mean that David, what's the difference between, it says David is at the level of Malchus, of Atzilus. Oh, then it says over here Malchus of Ak, of Adam Kadmon. Oh, sometimes it says of Atik Yomin. Atik Yomin. Yeah, there's, generally speaking, it's the same idea. Atik is higher than Atzilus, right? So, what does this mean exactly? What does it mean that David is at the level of Malchus and Moshiach is at the level of Atik Yomin? So, I'll show you something else, just to throw it. If you're looking down in the Kuntras and Yana Shal Teres Achsidus, by Hay, it says, in Yoni Ho'ikri Shal Mashiach Hu Yechida. It says Mashiach is the level of Yechida. It says, Ki Yedua She David Zachal of Chinas Nefesh. Eliyahu L'Ruach, Moshe L'Neshama, Adam Arishan L'Chayim, Mashiach Yizka L'Yechida. So it says, another thing, David, he merited the level of Nefesh, and Mashiach merited the level of Yechida. So there's 5 levels of the neshama: nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida. So David says he merited the level of nefesh, and Mashiach he will merit the level of yechida. So we have 2 sources over here. So we have one source that says David is Malchus and Mashiach is Adam Kadma. He's Atik Yomin. And the other source says that David is nefesh and Mashiach is yechida. So as we'll see, both these things are connected. So let's just try to understand a little bit what are these concepts. So when we talk about all of the spheroids, when we talk about Malchus or we talk about Atik Yomin, so what's this whole idea? So we know that our sages, Chazal, they give Hashem many different titles. They call him a king, they call him a melech, a gibor, right? Many different descriptions for Hashem. However, we know it's brought down from the Maharal and others that all the descriptions of Hashem, they don't encapsulate, God forbid, the essence of Hashem. The essence of Hashem is beyond description. Beyond description, we can't grasp and we have no understanding what the essence of Hashem is. So all of the different names of Hashem is what the Mikubalim call, the Kabbalists, they say they all relate to the 10 spheros. What are the 10 spheros? These are, so to say, these are 10 different ways that Hashem reveals himself. 10 different ways. Chachma, Bina, Das. So when Hashem, so to say, enclosed himself in the sphere of Chachma, so then we call Hashem a Chacham. When Hashem enclosed himself in the sphere of Malchus, so then we call Hashem a Melech, a king. So in other words, there's, so to say, 2 levels. There's the level of Hashem where he, so to say, lowers himself down to relate to us. Those are the 10 spheros. And then there's the essence of Hashem. So the essence of Hashem, sometimes we refer to as Atik Yomin. What does Atik Yomin mean? Atik means that it's uplifted. Hashem is, so to say, He's beyond days. Days refers to the spheros. And Hashem is beyond the spheros. Hashem is beyond all description. Beyond any existence. Even beyond the spheros of Atzilus, which are, so to say, the godly revelations and emanations that reveal Hashem, that reveal godliness. So, just to explain a little bit more. So, in Chassidus, it says that everything the way we're able to somehow have some understanding of any godly thing is through ourselves. It says, "Mi b'sari echza elakah." From my own flesh, I'm able to see Hashem. So, in a person, you also have these different levels. So, a person has different soul powers. A person has the power of action and speech, feelings, understanding. But all these different soul powers, so to say, that you have, they are not the essence of the soul. What's the essence of the soul? It's beyond description. Right? What is life? What is life? Try to say, what is life? Life is eating, life is drinking, life is thinking, is feeling. These are all expressions of life, but they don't define, they don't encapsulate life itself. Life itself is beyond description. So similarly, and obviously all the more so, is in regards to Hashem. So all the different spheres, this is Hashem, the way He reveals Himself, the way He relates to creation, the way He relates to the Jewish people, the way He relates to us. But the essence of Hashem is beyond understanding. So now this connects also to the 5 levels of the neshama. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chai, and Yechida. So Chassidus explains that just like you have, so to say, these 2 different levels of Hashem, so to say, the essence of Hashem, and the way Hashem relates to us, which are the spheros and atik, so to say, in Kabbalistic terminology. In the neshama, you have the same thing. In our relationship with Hashem, we also have these 2 levels, and this is the difference between all of the levels of nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, and yechida. So if you look over here in the Kuntras and Yanash Alter Rebbe, the Rebbe says like this in the second paragraph of Sif Hey. What is the advantage of Yechida over the 4 levels of Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya? So the parentheses, the brackets are backwards. It's the 4 levels, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, they are specific levels. The Yechida is the essence of the neshama, which is beyond any type of details. Kishma, like its name. So in other words, what's the difference? The difference is as follows. So Chassidus explains that each level of the neshama, nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, it's a different way to connect to Hashem. In other words, it's a different mode of avodas Hashem. Nefesh is avodas Hashem with Kabbalah soil. Just by accepting the yoke of Hashem, doing what Hashem wants, without any deep feeling or understanding. Just simply fulfilling Hashem's will out of a sense of duty that Hashem is our king and we are His servants. That's the level of nefesh. Ruach relates to the midos, to our emotions. So Ruach is the mode of avodas Hashem, of serving Hashem out of a feeling of love and awe of Hashem. When a Jew is able to arouse in himself either the hidden love of Hashem or more of an intellectual love of Hashem, but that's the concept of Ruach. Serving Hashem out of a sense of feeling, out of a sense of love or a sense of deep awe and respect. Then there's neshama. Neshama is the way of serving Hashem through understanding. When a person has a deep understanding of the greatness of Hashem, the unity of Hashem, how there's nothing else besides Hashem, and he truly recognizes how there's nothing else that has any significance besides Hashem. That's the level of neshama. And then you have the level of chaya. Chaya is the level of where a person A Jew is able to serve Hashem through Ratzon Shalamayla Mehaseichel, through a will which is beyond understanding. Every Jew has this natural desire that he wants to connect with Hashem, something which transcends his understanding, which means that even after a person does what Hashem wants and he has a feeling, an intellectual understanding of Hashem, but then he commits himself to Hashem in such a way that's beyond understanding. But even that's not the essence of the neshama. That's not the highest level. The highest level is Yechida. What is Yechida? Yechida means the essence of the soul. What's the essence of the soul? It's the fact that a Jew is essentially connected to Hashem. Just like a child is connected to the child's parent, mother and father. It's an essential connection. It's something that you can't create, you can't take away. So every Jew has this level of Yechida. This level of Yechida is the source and the deepest connection that he has with Hashem. And often it doesn't reveal itself. When does it come out? It comes out when a person is faced with a test of his emunah in Hashem. Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, Perikid Ches, chapter 18, 19, that in that case most Jews will give up their life, not to deny their belief in the oneness of Hashem. Now why? And even Akal Shabakal, even Jews that didn't necessarily live such a religious life. Because when you're faced with a test of Emunah in Hashem, this awakens the essence of a Jew. And at that level you feel that you can't deny Hashem, you can't give it up, because this is your identity, this is who you are. So that's the level of Yechida, where a Jew feels that his very identity, it's who he is. It's something which is beyond understanding. It's not just not only is it's not just what I do, it's not just what I feel, it's not just what I understand, it's not just what I want, it's who I am. That's the level of Yechida. So all of this connects to what we explained before, the level of Malchus and then the level of Atik Yomin. So to say, the level of Malchus is connected to Nefesh. Atik Yomin is like Yechida. So the 5 different levels of the neshama, they relate to those corresponding 5 different levels above by Hashem. In other words, when a Jew serves Hashem with Kabbalah's oil, out of accepting the yoke of Hashem, so which level of Hashem is he relating to? The level of Malchus. So when you serve Hashem with your Nefesh, the level of Nefesh, you're connecting to Hashem's Malchus. You're accepting Hashem as your king. When you serve Hashem with your midas, the ruach, so then what are you connecting to? You're relating to Hashem's midas, so to say. You're relating to Hashem's emotions, so to say, which are the spheres of the world of Atzilus, the higher spheres. The 6 spheres of Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, and Yisod. And when a Jew serves Hashem through his neshama, through his seichel, he connects to Hashem's Chabad, Hashem's Chachma Bin Adas, Hashem, so to say, the intellectual spheres. And how do you connect to the essence of Hashem? When you reveal your Yechida, the essence of your soul. So now every single Jew has these 5 levels, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and Yechida. But they're not always revealed all the time. So David HaMelech, what does it mean that he was Zoicha to Chaya? It means, like it says in Derech Mitzvah, he was Merkava to Malchus of Atzilus. So most people, at times, they're able to reveal their Nefesh. They're able to reveal that level, to have Kabbalah soil, to accept the yoke of Hashem. David, he was at the level where that's who he was. He was a Merkava. He was a chariot to Malchus of Atzilus. All the time, every day, he had complete Kabbalah soil. He had complete acceptance of the yoke of Hashem. He was like a chariot, just like a chariot has no will of its own except for the will of its rider. So David HaMelech was completely batal to Malchus Shemayim, to Malchus of Atzilus. That's what we mean when we say that David was Zoicha to Nefesh. In other words, he personified serving Hashem at the level of Nefesh. And therefore, what did he also reveal and what did he bring down for the Jewish people? What's the whole, as we spoke about, the whole purpose of a king is that he should reveal the kingship of Hashem on earth. So since he was completely batal to Malchus of Atzilus, therefore he revealed to the rest of the Jewish people the Malchus of Hashem on earth. So that's David. What's Mashiach? Mashiach is the level of Yechida, the level of Atik Yoimin.
The Yechida is higher?
Right.
Higher?
Yes, Yechida is the highest level. In other words, Mashiach,
Is higher than the Noah as well?
it relates to Adam Kadmon, yeah? What's the idea?
No, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same idea. Adam Kadmon, Atik Yoimin, Yechida. The idea is this is the level where Mashiach had an essential connection with Hashem. Or will have, I should say. Thus, Mashiach is going to reveal this level of Yechida to every single Jew. He's going to reveal how every single Jew, how his very identity is his connection with Hashem. So,
It says that Adam HaRishon is higher. So
yeah, that's right.
Mashiach is higher than Adam?
Yes, he's even higher than Adam HaRishon. Yeah, Mashiach is the highest level. That's why we call him Mashiach. He's the Yechida HaKlalis, right? He's the general Yechida. So now we understand the difference between David HaMelech and Mashiach. Right? So David HaMelech, his whole idea was Nefesh, the idea of Malchus, to reveal the kingship of Hashem on this earth. And Mashiach is coming to reveal a much greater level. How every single Jew has an essential connection with Hashem. So Mashiach himself will be at that level, and he will reveal that in every single Jew.
That's Geulah?
Yeah, that's Geulah. That's Mashiach. That's his job. So, now it's an interesting thing. So it would seem that David and Mashiach, they're like on two different levels. Mashiach is on a much greater level. So it says in Chassidus that the shoirish of Malchus is in Pnimius HaKeser, in Atik Yoimin. The source of Malchus is in Yechida, is in Atik Yoimin, in the highest level, in the essence of Hashem. So, just to explain this idea a little bit. So just like by the relationship between a king and his subjects down here. So, seemingly the relationship is just an external relationship. There were the king's servants and subjects. They have Kabbalah Soil, they accept his kingship, and they do what he wants. But it doesn't seem to go beyond that. But the truth is, you see a very interesting thing. One thing is that you see very often that people of a country or of a king, they're willing to risk their lives for their country, right? Or for their king. Where does that come from? Or another thing that Chassidus says that when they used to have monarchies, so it says the people, it says that when they would appoint the king, it says that they would totally give themselves over. They would like bow before the king, and they felt that their whole life was dependent on the king, and therefore they begged and they just wanted him to be king. So all of this shows is that the relationship between the king and his servants really comes from a much deeper place, almost like an essential. It's like an essential connection that the king's servants feel that they need a relationship with him. They want and they need this relationship with their king. But of course, this doesn't always come out all the time. It comes out when they appoint the king. It comes out when they go to battle. But otherwise, it's something which is hidden. So the same thing is also with our relationship with Hashem. So even when a Jew has a simple Kabbalah soul, he's on the lowest level. Yeah, he's just accepting the yoke of heaven. I'm just doing what Hashem wants. But where does that come from? It really comes from the fact that a Jew has an even deeper connection with Hashem. It comes from the fact that he has the level of Yechida, which is connected to the essence of Hashem. The fact that a Jew has this essential connection with Hashem that's beyond understanding. It's beyond just a simple, okay, I'm just going to do what you want because you're the boss. So this is what it means that the shoirish of Malchus is in Pnimius HaKeser. The source of Malchus is in the essence of Hashem. So, in other words, so David HaMelech, really his real shoirish, his source, was also from Yechida, but it wasn't revealed. Therefore, just on the surface, David personified just Malchus. What's the whole concept of Mashiach? He's bringing Malchus to its true source, to reveal the source of Malchus, which is Yechida, which is Atik, Pnimius HaKeser, right? The essence, the essence of Hashem. So all of this will now explain why Mashiach's job is to make wonders and miracles. So one of the differences between all the four levels of nefesh, ruach, neshama, even chaya and yechida is, so nefesh, ruach, neshama, let's say you're serving Hashem through Kabbalah soil and with your emotions and your understanding. That's, so to say, the natural way to serve Hashem. That's like serving Hashem according to your natural abilities. The level of Yechida is a level which is, so to say, beyond your natural abilities. This is an essential connection. It's beyond understanding, beyond everything. So Chassidus says that these two levels, they correspond to nature and above nature. So in other words, just like Hashem, so to say, could run the world according to nature, which is also Hashem running the world, or Hashem could run the world in a way that's beyond nature, in a way that he, so to say, just goes beyond the limits of this world. So we could also serve Hashem in the same way. We could serve Hashem in a way of teva, with our regular understanding and feelings, and our Kabbalah soil, or we could serve Hashem in a way of Yechida, in a way that's beyond all limitations. So the Rebbe says that since Mashiach, his whole idea is Yechida, so that's the cause that Mashiach will make wonders and miracles. Because the only reason why things have to run according to nature is only when you're not at the level of Yechida. When you're not at the level of, so to say, the essence of Hashem, when you're, so to say, limited by the 10 spheros. So Hashem usually runs the world through the 10 spheros, which is, so to say, in a limited way. So there's rules, so to say, how Hashem runs the world, and that's the source of nature. But the essence of Hashem, of course, is not bound by nature. So since Mashiach is going to reveal himself and in the Jewish people the level of Yechida, that will cause also that in the world there'll be miracles which are beyond nature. So let's see over here. The Rebbe says over here that in the beginning, in the beginning, by contrast to Yan Shel Teres Achsidus, it says, "B'vias HaMashiach yischadshu kama v'kan inyanim nailim." When Mashiach will come, there will be many great things that will happen. Ukamei geulas Yisroel, like we'll be redeemed. Then it says, "L'maylam izeh, you Yisroel chacham gedolim." The Jewish people will be great sages, and so on and so forth. The next line, "L'maylam izeh." There'll be a shinoi v'chidush b'maaseh bereshis, right? The world's going to change. Oh, so that's what the Rebbe points out over here in the parentheses that says, even though it says that the only difference between this world and the days of Mashiach is only the fact that when Mashiach comes, so we won't be subjugated by the nations, rather Mashiach will be the king. That's only at the beginning. And then, so if you look in the brackets, it says what's going to happen. The level of godliness that's beyond nature will be revealed. Now, then if you skip down to the last paragraph before Hey, it says, after all of the above, kol inyanim eila, all these things, einam ela histafus min nikudasi ha'ikros shel Mashiach. They are an offshoot of the main idea of Mashiach. And in Hey, what's the inyani ha'ikros shel Mashiach? Yechida. The main idea is Yechida. And the Rebbe goes on to explain that since Mashiach is Yechida, so that's why all these things will happen when Mashiach will come, including wonders and miracles. So in other words, the difference between David and Mashiach, although they're related, is that David was just step one. It was like the first phase in Malchus, first phase in kingship, Kabbalah soil. The whole idea of Mashiach is that he's the final phase. He's here to bring back the concept of Malchus to its original source, which is that it really comes from Yechida, from the essence of the Neshama, which connects to the essence of Hashem, which is beyond all limitation. And that's what Mashiach is going to reveal in the world. And that could explain why the Rambam says in Ageres Teiman that what is the signs, what's the sign that Mashiach is Mashiach? The fact that he'll make wonders and miracles. Because that brings out that he is Mashiach. It says, Heim harayis alamitis yichusai. What's going to show that he's really Mashiach, that he's Yechida? The fact that he's beyond nature. He's beyond the 10 spheres, he's beyond the basic level of Malchus, he's at the level of Yechida. So one of the things, to tie this all together, that now that we're standing now on the threshold of Geula, like the Rebbe says, so we're able to, so to say, what the Rebbe calls live with Mashiach. Which one of the things that, one of the meanings of living with Mashiach is that we're able to access in ourselves some things, to a certain extent, that will only be revealed when Mashiach comes. So even though the level of Yechida will only be revealed when Mashiach will come, but since now we're already standing on the threshold of Geula, especially now we have Chassidus, which is a taste of the Torah of Mashiach, the concept of Yechida. So we're actually able to taste a little bit and experience and bring out this level of serving Hashem in a way of Yechida. And we should be Zeicha that very soon we should experience it in its fullest with the ultimate revelation of Mashiach.
Moshiach,